Alright, so today we're going to show you how to do a 1-year maintenance check on a fire extinguisher. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to check the outside of the extinguisher, okay? So the first things we're wanting to look for are the instructions and any other labels that we can find on the outside of this extinguisher, okay? We're looking for anything that's blocking, okay, like a sticker that's over the top, if they're ripped or illegible in any way. If that's the problem, if any of those criteria are met, then we need to fail this extinguisher. We will not pass it in the TMA, okay? This one looks okay. Everything looks to be intact. It's legible, looks good. The other thing we're looking for are any corrosion on the extinguisher, whether it's up here by the pressure gauge or the hose, or down at the bottom, or any big dents or deformities in the extinguisher. And this one looks okay. Next thing we're going to do is take off the hose. It's a simple twist on, twist off. And we need to inspect the hose on the outside to make sure that it's not deformed anyway as well. So sometimes they get bent in such a way that it causes a crease and it causes the material on the outside to break. We can't have that. We don't want any holes in it. Okay, this one looks okay. It looks to be in good shape. The other thing that we need to be sure that we're checking is to check the inside. We don't want any blockages inside the hose. Okay, so we can do that by looking through it to see if we can see light from one end to the other, or by blowing in it is really the easiest way and letting the air, come out on our hand. If we can feel that air on our hand, then we're okay. All right, we'll set the hose aside. Next, what we want to look at is we want to look at the pressure gauge. Okay, so in this one, we can see that the needle is within the green. The green is good. Okay, we don't want to be over pressurized or under pressurized. If the needle is not in the green, then we need to fail the extinguisher. We need to not pass it in our TMA checks. This one looks like it's great. It's pressurized. Okay. All right. So what we can do now is we can go ahead and take off this yellow tag. We don't need it anymore because we'll put a new one on. And what we're going to do is we're going to do something called fluffing the extinguisher. Oftentimes the product inside gravity pulls it down to the bottom, obviously, and sometimes it compacts on the bottom and it gets stuck there. We can't have that. So what we do is we fluff it. We flip it upside down, okay, and we try to listen for the product falling downwards, okay, loosening up. Sometimes we can't hear it, but you usually can feel it because you can feel all the weight fall downwards, okay. Once you feel that or hear it and your extinguisher's been fluffed, you're good to go. If you can't, you might can bang on it with your hand or get a rubber mallet and knock on it and see if you can loosen it up in there. It's usually not very difficult. If for any reason you're not able to get that product to come loose, you can't hear it or feel it, then you need to put a note in the TMA so that a supervisor can come take a look at that extinguisher, okay? All right, so now that we've done those, I could clearly feel and hear that product fall. We know it's loose in there. We can go ahead and take off the zip tie. We don't need this one. And we'll go ahead and remove the pin, okay? Now, our pins, we like to see that they're straight, okay? The purpose of the pin is to make sure that we can't depress this handle and allow the product to go everywhere just any time, okay? Only in the result of a fire, obviously. So if it's straight, then it's good. We can go ahead and put this back in. Make sure you get it through the handle and also the base right here, okay? And we'll go ahead and put on a new zip tie. Now our old one was yellow. That just means that it was from a previous year. So each year we get a different color zip tie. And in the years to come, we should be printing, we'll have zip ties that have a year printed on them just to make sure that we're getting the right one, okay? So we fit it through the hole and underneath the handle, and then we zip tie it. Pretty simple. This just keeps the pin from being able to be pulled out. With this extra bit, we can just go ahead and tuck it in so it's out of the way. All right? So at this point, the pin's back in. We need to put our hose back on. Now the hoses, sometimes they're tricky. Sometimes they're not easy to put back on. Well, one thing we need to make sure that we're doing is we're putting them on properly. Don't cross thread, okay, the hose. It should twist really easily. And just twist it till it's hand tight, and then you can go put it back in the hose back in its holder, okay? The last thing that we need to do is we need to put on a new yellow tag, okay? So sometimes supervisors will pre-punch these for us, all the criteria. If not, it's not very hard. We're doing a 12-month maintenance, so a 1-year maintenance. So we punch the 12, maintenance, the year in which we're doing it, the month in which we're doing it, and then These are all the different extinguishers, but on campus we really mostly just come in contact with ABC dry chem. So for our purposes, that's the ones you're going to punch. If it is a rare or different extinguisher, your team members, they'll help you figure out which ones you need to punch, all right? So what we do is we just take it and loop it around the pressure gauge, and you want to put this wire behind the yellow tag, pinch it with your fingers, and then just wrap it about 5 times. Okay, and that secures it. And then so it doesn't flop out weird like this, we'll just give it a little crease so that it sits down in front. And that makes it so we can see the inspection, the monthly inspection record here, whether it's in a cabinet, behind a door, or just on a wall, so that it doesn't stick out and people don't pull on it and rip it. All right? And that's how you do a 1-year maintenance.